Good morning, happy Friday. I am so excited because today we're going to start Wayside School beneath the cloud of doom. Kind of feels like a little bit that we might be living underneath that cloud right now. But hey, Bells Chapter 1, The Bells of Wayside School. It is very important that the children of Wayside School knew the bell system. The first bell in the morning sounds like this. Whoop, 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 whoop. When they hear it, they know that they have 16 minutes to get to class. That's not too difficult for those in Mr. Hargrove's class on the third floor. But Wayside School is a 30-story building with one room on each floor. So for those who happen to be in Mrs. Jewell's class, way up on the 30th floor, they must be ready for the first whoop. Todd was in Mrs. Jewell's class. He was stuck behind the mass of kids outside the building waiting for the doors to open. He jumped up and down, trying to see over the heads of those in front of him. If he was late, Mrs. Jules would put his name on the blackboard under the word discipline. The kids who went to class on the lower floors often dilly-dallied. If Todd got stuck behind a large group of dilly-dalliers, he'd have no chance. Kids like kind of taking their time. Inside the principal's office, Mr. Kidswater sat behind his enormous desk as he watched the clock. At the moment he had the second hand reach the number 12, he shrieked into his microphone, "Whoop, whoop, 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 whoop." The doors unlocked. The children stampeded into the building and up the stairs. Todd tried his best to weave his way to the front, but there wasn't a lot of room. 8 minutes later, Mr. Kidswater tugged on the rope hanging through the hole in the ceiling, and the second bell rang. Clang, 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 clang. Todd counted the clangs. 8. That now meant he had 8 minutes to get to class. 7 or 9 clangs would have meant something completely different. 7 meant a helicopter was landing on the roof. 9 clangs meant a porcupine had entered the building. Really? You need a code for that? So far, he had only made it to the 7th floor. But he had finally managed to weave his way past all the dilly-dalliers. There was nothing else to slow him down now. When he reached the 18th floor, he heard this sound. Ching-a-ling, ching-a-ling, ching-a-ling. Nothing to worry about. That meant they were out of donuts in the teacher's lounge. The scary bell was the late bell. It didn't matter where he was. It always sounded like an angry driver was slamming on a car horn right behind him. It made Todd jump every time. He quickly dashed up from the 18th to the 20th floor. There was no 19th floor. His legs were sore, and he was breathing hard as he reached the top. Just ahead, he could see Joy entering the classroom. "Don't shut the—" Todd shouted. Joy shut the door behind her. "Guzak," said Todd. He was just opening it when the horn blared as if right behind him. "You're late, Todd," said Mrs. Jules as he entered the classroom. "Right, "I know," he said. He wrote his name on the blackboard under the word discipline. Poor Todd. Other bells rang throughout the day. At noon, the lunch bell kaboinked 3 times. 3 kaboinks meant macaroons and cheese. Macaroons are like a kind of cookie. The bell for recess was just a single ding, but nobody ever missed it. At the end of each day, Mr. Kidswater would bang a giant gong with a large iron mallet. It was his favorite thing about being principal. Todd sat at his desk, glumly looking at the blackboard. The day had started off badly for him, and had only gotten worse. There was now a check mark next to his name, under the word discipline. Next to that, Mrs. Jules kept adding new homework assignments. Read a book. Write a book report. Draw a picture. Don't forget your paperclip. History. Read pages 55 through 59 and answer questions on pages 61 and 62. Math worksheet. Do even and odd numbered problems. Science. Read pages 29 through 34 and do experiment on 37. Todd had a sick feeling in his stomach. And it wasn't just the mac and cheese. In big letters across the top of the blackboard, Mrs. Jules had written, "Ultimate test starts tomorrow." Mrs. Jules had been warning the class about the ultimate test all year. The test would last for 3 days. If he failed, Todd would get sent back to kindergarten. And then he heard it, the most magical bell of all. Ping, pong. This bell had only rung once in the history of Wayside School, and nobody knew who rang it, but everybody knew what it meant. All the children All around, kids began cheering and clapping their hands. Shouts of joy can be heard coming from every floor of Wayside School. Todd sat there in stunned disbelief. It rang. Ping! Pong! It was the erase the blackboard bell. Mrs. Jules had no choice. She picked up the eraser. Up and down Wayside Schools, teachers were doing the same thing. Todd smiled as homework assignments were wiped away. The ultimate test was canceled. His name was removed from the discipline list, and even the word discipline soon disappeared. Deep in the basement, stop it, Neville. A man with a black mustache snapped open a black attaché case. Another man with a black mustache placed a small silver ball into a case. A third man, who was bald, put in a solid gold ping pong paddle. Those are weird things for somebody out of school to have. Okay, so they're getting ready for the ultimate test. I did read this book when I first got it. And it's kind of like how we talked about the PSSA, but remember, it's a Wayside School. So when they do take their test, it's different. It's not like the things that they test them on are much different than what you would see on the PSSA. But happy Friday, my darlings. Neville says hello. Don't you? Say hi. No? All right. And I will. Don't forget, we're working on why do birds lay eggs in spring, and to write your facts about your animals if you haven't. Remember, you don't have to do the form and the Google Doc. You only have to do one or the other, okay? And that's not till that one, favorite animal, is not due until next Saturday, okay? All right, talk to you guys later. Bye.